There is only one place to start today, and that is Manchester City. Why on earth haven't they had any points deducted yet? The perfect man to help me establish the reasons as to why. 115 charges, Buvey, nothing as of yet.
Yeah, obviously our case is big. I can only stress that it is unconfirmed charges at the moment. We haven't gotten to the bottom of them yet. There's a lot of them.
I mean, they're confirmed charges. But you are innocent.
Yeah, I could throw any label at you if I wanted to.
You can't.
I can't. But I haven't confirmed it in a court of law yet. And
No,
it's not been confirmed yet, and it won't be for another another year.
To be charged, there's a case to answer.
There is a case.
I'm not suggesting that
they
you're guilty.
might all get thrown out like it was with UEFA. We don't know that. That is fair.
Agreed.
Maybe we should start with the kind of lesser cases that have been thrown at Everton and Nottingham Forest. It's quite sad, I'd say, with Everton, because it could be a second round of points being deducted out of one of the big clubs in the Premier League. Obviously, FFP hasn't been adhered to both clubs, but Everton in particular, they could be in a situation where they get more points deducted and enter the relegation zone.
Yeah, I think in terms of establishing why, the Everton case came and went fairly quickly with a ruling, and maybe why Forest, it feels like that one is moving at a fair pace, is because of the difference. Like the Manchester City case, 115 charges, it's so much bigger. It would be like comparing, I saw somebody do this on Twitter and I thought it really, really made sense to me. It would be like saying, why in a court of law, like something that goes to the Royal Courts of Justice takes a lot longer than something that's at your local magistrate's court.
Yeah, it's scale, isn't it? Question of scale.
Exactly. It just takes so much longer. There's so much more reading to do. There's so much more litigation involved. And therefore, it just takes longer. It doesn't mean that it's any less serious. It doesn't mean it's being taken any less seriously. It just needs the due diligence, and it's a bigger, grander case.
Yeah.
So,
do you want the chance to win £250,000? With Super 6, you get the chance to be a whole lot richer, all for predicting some football scores. Click the link down below and obviously join our mini league. It's Club 23 on the app. And you could be winning £100 at classic football shirts every single week. That's an unbelievable deal. Again, click the link and I'll see you over there.
So with that in mind, I think it's part of the reason why City haven't been charged yet. With regard to Everton, I mean, their fans just must be livid because they've had 10 points deducted, and although they're still struggling and there is a chance that they could go down, I think most people would suggest that they will pull away. They've done enough already to kind of equalise that 10-point, to equalise that 10-point gap. It could fairly realistically become 20. They could get another 10, so they just about equalise it, and suddenly, bang, they're hit with another 10. This feels quite draconian to me. It feels quite harsh. Initially, the recommendation was that they were charged, if found guilty, 12 points. So they only got 10. So although it feels harsh, 10 points to me feels massive. It actually isn't. It's not the maximum. It's a reduction of what was recommended, which is, I think, important to acknowledge. But another 10, surely that sends them down.
They're only saving grace. I think they might be the luckiest club ever in terms of if they were deducted more points. Lucky in the sense that the league this year is still so poor with two of the sides that have been promoted, with all due respect to Burnley and Sheffield United.
No, you're not wrong, because if they'd been deducted the points in any of the two previous seasons when the offences also took place, they would have been relegated. 10 points off from last season, they're down. 10 points off from the season before, they're down.
You get the feeling this season you might need 32 points maybe to stay up, 33, and they've shown enough quality, especially with the likes of Doucouré and Calvert-Lewin this season. Onana's a great midfielder. Pickford's been fantastic. Braithwaite's been fantastic as well.
And Dyche's got it right. Fair play to him.
Yeah. I think their form has tailed off in the last few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But I think their saving grace will be that third side. The issue is we thought it'd be Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And it's not. And Luton Town have shown a lot of quality. So,
and another 10 is basically, that's insurmountable, isn't it? You start with minus 20.
I think if we had an Everton fan sat here, do you want another 10? Obviously not. Can you survive another 10? I reckon 60% of Everton fans think they would.
Do you think, and obviously this is just a personal opinion, not related to Everton at all, or Forest, or City, just in general, do you think that for breaches of this nature, FFP breaches, points deduction is the correct procedure?
Yeah, I do. I think there is an important element to sustainability, and I'm a Man City fan, so
No,
what
but
can
you
I
know,
say?
it
But I
doesn't
don't
mean-
run a
you
run a
don't
football
run the
club,
club, do you?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
if I had it my way, I think football would, £1 million for football is too much.
Do you know what you just touched on there, but you must get this the same amount I do. One of the most infuriating thing about social media is when you put forward a theory. So, for example, I think that the amount of money in football is a disgrace. People go, "You're a Chelsea fan, you can't speak about that." I'm like, hang on, it's not my money. I don't want this. I didn't choose this.
Yeah, it's a laugh.
It's
a laugh when you signed,
I want Chelsea to win.
Drogba for 25 million
I want Chelsea
quid.
to win.
Yeah.
And obviously there is an irrational quality to all football fans. Of course I want Chelsea to win. And also, when I was young and Chelsea did win back-to-back leagues, and we're in the stadiums and in away end singing about Roman Abramovich like having loads of money, and we amended the tune to Only Fools and Horses, because where it all comes from is a mystery. Some's from oil in the land and some's from oil in the sea. So come on, Chelsea, throw your celery. But when I was young and we were singing that, the person I am today isn't that person. Yeah, I enjoyed it massively.
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Of course I enjoyed it massively.
Of
course I did. I didn't ask the questions that I ask now. I'm a father.
Yeah.
So I don't like the money in football.
No.
I hate the way Chelsea operate at the moment. I think it's despicable the way that all English clubs can launch ourselves into Europe and poach all of the best players.
But therein, I think, lies the issue of your point, because you support a club, money got pumped into it, and you won 2 European Cups off the back of it and multiple league titles. Same with Man City. But Everton have actually hit a very comparable amount of money, relatively speaking, to the Liverpools of the world, to the Man United.
£500 million in 5 years, wasn't it?
And they've had back-to-back relegation threatened seasons. So the money is so bad that they're not even getting into the Champions League or getting into the Europa League even. So they can't even make the revenue back. So to answer the question, should FFP be in effect and should there be points deducted? Yes. Should there be these stringent kind of 10 points? It does feel extreme. It does feel a little bit extreme.
Yeah.
2 charges in one go. And maybe we should talk about Nottingham Forest, because I know when I was a kid, they were a League One side or a Championship side. They're a huge institution, whatever we say about Nottingham Forest. They're another side to get kind of these issues. They didn't choose to sell Brennan Johnson to Brentford. They sold him to Spurs a little bit later for a little bit more money. That is tied into the FFP allegations that they haven't met a kind of certain number. That feels a little bit off to me as well. So Nottingham Forest could be in the mire.
Yes. Look, my issue with this whole thing, and I actually don't know where I sit on it, because the Premier League is a collective, that everybody is involved, everybody has equal rights, and everybody votes and agrees to the rules. If somebody decides that the collective that have agreed to the rules, they decide to break it, then it does feel... Do you know where I'm struggling with this? As soon as you start talking about points, the people that you're punishing, I know that you're punishing clubs, of course you are. But if, say, Manchester City are found guilty, Man City are found guilty of 115 of all of them, you will presumably be relegated to League Two or something, right? Because comparable, Everton were found guilty of 1 and they 10 points, found guilty of 115, you go, whatever, okay, Championship, whatever. City go. The people that are being punished for that are the people that broke the rules, but also the people that didn't. You, Man City season ticket holders, people that follow Man City home and away and have done for decades. You're punishing. I just don't know if it's the right.
Can you
people being
Can you
punished.
punish Sheikh Mansour financially? You can't. You can't punish them. Can you give them £100 million fine? No, you can't do that.
I don't know if I'm making my point very well here, but what I mean is, say Chelsea are found guilty. Chelsea haven't even been charged yet, but Chelsea are found guilty. The responsibility will lie, depending on where the charges lie, with either the Abramovich ownership or the Bowley ownership. The geezer who sits row double F, block 12 in the Matthew Harding Lower didn't do this.
Yeah, but that's the sad reality of football, that there are casualties involved, unfortunately. That you can't detach yourself away from it. You can.
Yeah.
So someone's sitting there saying, ultimately, FFP is there to protect the kind of integrity of the game, to protect the integrity of how football clubs are run on some level. There are disagreements within football if they should even exist. But on some level, I'd rather City... If City were... All right, imagine City's owners put this much money in. We'd won the treble last season, but they were really bad owners. I don't think they are, by the way. They're very, very good owners. I'd rather FFP put them in place, charge them, so they wake up to the fact that they're bad owners. Everton's, Mashiri is a bad owner, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think clubs like Everton need to be protected from their own danger.
This is interesting then. Do you think that there's a Do you think that there is a question mark over the legitimacy of the Premier League title race? Like Liverpool, for example, and Arsenal. Liverpool and Arsenal have operated within their means, within the rules of FFP. Manchester City potentially haven't. Manchester City, I think most people will conclude, are most likely to win the league.
But if we win the league this season, players that we've brought in is based on profits from winning prior. I think a lot of these allegations lead up to 2018 and to Mancini's salary and before that.
It must all create.
It's all a chain event.
It's building a pyramid, isn't it? It's
all a chain event, of course it is. Yeah. And the initial investment in 2010 from Sheikh Mansour or 2009 is obviously important. And if there's a lack of ethics to that investment that is found proving guilty in a court of law, then what can I say as a City fan?
Would it feel more
this
hollow
season,
to you?
Absolutely not.
Would it feel more hollow to you, a victory? Because of the charges, even?
No, it wouldn't, because the memories you can't take away from me.
Yeah.
Seeing Yaya Toure score a goal in the FA Cup semi-final against Man United to get us to our first FA Cup final in 40, 50 years, you can't take that away from me. And similarly going to Istanbul to watch us win a treble.
How do you think, maybe Arsenal would be interesting, although they've kind of dropped out the top. Liverpool, the example to use here. You know, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this, in fact, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this video, can you tell me, the title race, it's looking like it's going to go head to head. Guardiola versus Klopp. We've been here before. We've done it before. You've won one. You've lost a few. Is this one, because of this lingering cloud of FFP allegations, different? Does it feel different to you? Does it feel unfair to you? Or are you strictly focusing on the football? The football is what you're about, and this title race feels the same. What do you predict, Booth? A Liverpool fan hopefully will comment and let me know their thoughts. I'm going to go in the comments, check this. What do you predict, as Liverpool fan says here?
They'll follow in behind what Jurgen Klopp came out recently and sort of said these clubs have got kind of uncontrollable power to spend as much as they want. There is an important aspect to this debate about being in the grey. Not everything's black or white. Clubs have to be allowed to have investment. The owners before Sheikh Mansour nearly put Man City into the ground. He nearly put Man City into the ground. We nearly couldn't pay even the kitchen staff. So Sheikh Mansour put a lot of money into the club, made us competitive. Maybe there has to be a cap, and maybe too much is too much. But ultimately, clubs have to be allowed to compete, Roars. Otherwise, it'd just be, do you know what it'd be, yeah? Based on history alone.
It'd be Man United and Arsenal.
City won the title before the money. You've won one league title before your money as well. But it would just be three clubs.
Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal win.
And they'd love that. And they're the clubs responsible for Super League as well, that the Real Madrids of the world don't want. The Gironas of the world having a go.
Yeah, Leicester's just the anomaly, isn't it? I think it's... Do you know where I end up with this whole thought, this whole conversation? Do you know, I just find it so hateful. Like, you and I play football together, talk about football, fortunate enough to do a football show. We love football, right? We love playing it, we love talking about it. We've managed to do a video on a football channel talking about football clubs that doesn't involve football one bit. And that is the hateful thing about this. Yeah. Like, we shouldn't... I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to accountancy, right? My accountant will testify. I ain't got a clue. And yet somehow we're asked to process and understand the significance of Manchester City's 115 charges.
It's the politicisation of football, and it's been, and that's. I think it's tied to VAR as well. I think football's become too intricate, too focused on technology and the kind of laws and politics and the ownership. It's all a load of rubbish. I signed up for football, and my whole family have since I was 4, 5, 6 years old, because it's 22 blokes kicking a ball at high pace in front of a working class set of fans, high energy, adventurous, beautiful sport.
I couldn't agree more.
This isn't.
I couldn't agree more, Booth. I find the whole thing bent. I do find the whole thing bent. Even if you get away with it, I find it bent. Even if Chelsea aren't charged.
You would get away with it is loaded. Okay. Getting away with it.
You're right.
Yeah.
That you are totally
if we
correct.
move on from this.
No, if you're found innocent. The language is poor there. Poor choice from me. You're totally right. Even if Chelsea aren't charged, I still find the £250 million on two midfielders who've played like a combined total of 150 games or something. I still find it bent.
Yeah.
I just find the whole thing bent.
Yeah, and you're right too, man.